First time Joe had a really bad flare-up was at university when I was staying with him overnight. The following morning he was like a statue in the bed.
One day he called me, I just walked out of clinics and he was like, I need you to come and help me. I was like, what's the matter? He goes, I can't move. And he was in his room and his joints were all stiff. And for me, I think I was 19, 20 at the time. To see something like that, and to someone who's a close friend to you, you were like, wow.
I'd probably wake up when I was 21, 22 thinking, is this going to be the rest of my life feeling like this? With rheumatoid arthritis, it doesn't just affect your joints, there's always that risk of it affecting your heart or your lungs. But I think the thing that's really affected me the most, I guess, is sort of that mental pain. The emotional aspects of it and being able to cope with that, because no one can teach you how to feel better. For pain, there's painkillers that take the edge away. But to be able to get over your condition mentally, it takes time, and it just takes a serious amount of thought and support.
I remember there were some mornings when he just couldn't get out of bed, for example, when he wasn't able to get into clinics or he would be late, but it was just because he had to wait for his brother, and he used to tell me how he would physically have to get him out of bed and help him buttoning up his shirts and things like that he would have struggled with.
Hi, I'm Johnny Ho and I'm the director of this film. So I first knew Johan back in secondary school and we lost contact just before going to university. He went to go to study medicine and I went to go work in film. Since then, I've worked on documentaries, commercials, fashion and short films. As a filmmaker, I'm always looking for unique people with extraordinary stories to tell. In 2015, I was on my social feed and that's when I saw a post from Johan with the title 12 Marathons in 12 Months for Arthritis Research UK. My first impressions were, wow, that's really impressive, but then my second thought was why? And that's when I discovered he had rheumatoid arthritis and he'd been living with it for the last 10 years. At the time I thought arthritis was just something you got later in life, but in Johan's case, the effects were instant. Within his first year, his joints were already deforming. The thing that struck me was not the regular pain, but the mental aspect of it. How do you cope knowing that this is something you have for the rest of your life? I messaged Johan and we met up for old time's sake, and this is when he told me about his latest adventure. He asked me, have you heard of the Marathon des Sables? To which I replied no. And he said in the most casual manner, oh, it's a 250-kilometer race in the Sahara Desert. That's when it hit me. This isn't your average road racing. On one hand, you have a guy who's lived with chronic pain for over 10 years, and then on the other hand, it's a race in some of the harshest conditions on the planet through sand dunes and salt plains, and has been dubbed the toughest foot race on Earth.
The Marathon des Sables is a 6-day multi-stage race in the Sahara Desert, and you need to carry everything on your back to survive for the week.
People drive that distance, and they have to take breaks.
It was ridiculously difficult compared to the other multi-stage races. You can train as you would for a marathon and maybe go a little bit longer, but it's very much about your mind and how you work through the race mentally, because one of the toughest things to do is to stay focused. Your legs will only get you so far, and the rest of it is all about your mental attitude towards the running.
There's only so much control you might have over the physical elements or your physical environment, but when it comes to your mind and the way that you think and the way that you feel, I think actually that's the most important thing to have control of. Let's think about that in the desert, let's think about that in the Sahara. It's going to be an environment I do not know. So the most important thing in terms of between now and the race is not just physical preparedness, but it's mental preparedness.
I want to know what drives him when he's in so much pain and his body's saying enough. What he hopes to achieve from it all, but most importantly, why. The story intertwines with two other rheumatoid arthritis sufferers, Leah Henderson and Tina Nicolau. Our aim with this project is to empower and give hope to those who suffer from chronic, mental and physical health conditions. We've been making this film for the last year now, and so far it's been completely self-funded. I've bought my own kits, I've asked for favours, and I've asked for advice from fellow directors, editors and producers. We're now at the stage where we need to get our team out to the Sahara Desert, but in order for us to do that, we need to raise £35,000. So if this is a story you love to watch, please share, donate or help in any way you can.